Yeah, so my last YouTube video I shot on a pair of these crappy, HD camcorders. They do 1080p kind of, and I'm not really a footage snob, but just in the edit and in the color grade especially, but also just putting it on YouTube, noticeably worse than my normal. And yeah, so I want to try to remedy that. This is just a cheapo. I think I paid for the set of 4 like $100 or something, because they were just like, nobody needs these. It's a fixed lens, and it's fixed focus, so it's just focused to everything. I don't even know what size the chip is, but it's like a 60mm full frame equivalent, so it's a pretty tight push in, which means for my master shot, I don't have BTS, but basically I had to push the camera all the way up against the back wall to make it work. But yeah, the footage out of it is just crappy. So, real directors of photography test their equipment before they go out there, and I didn't. So in this video, I actually did some test shots, and I'm gonna try to match the footage coming out of this, which is obviously crap, to my Blackmagic camera, which is good, and I'm very familiar with it. So. Yeah, let's jump into the edit. So we can look at this. This is Blackmagic footage. This is me just making faces with my Blackmagic camera, and then right next to it is, there we go. There's the footage coming out of this this potato here. I'm giving it the best a chance for a color grade. God, the difference is crazy. These are both 1080p, but the actual quality difference is like staggering. They're both 1080p, but clearly there's just more information in the Blackmagic footage. I think that's obvious. Other things about this camera, not only is it fixed focus, but it's like a GoPro camera where you can't control shutter speed, so it just kind of invents the shutter speed it wants. And so what I did was I put as much light in front of the camera as I could. This is actually a very bright room that I artificially darkened with the iris on the other camera, but to give the camera the best chance of having, a relatively fast shutter speed, hopefully. The other thing I did was I shot one set in daylight, balanced light, and then one shot in tungsten. So the tungsten may be a little bit dimmer just because I didn't have quite as much power with the tungsten, but I'm going to try to get these to color grade correctly. That's the hope, at least. So I think the first thing to do, these are my node trees. I can sort of walk through the node tree if you guys really care, but basically I have, my first node is a color space transform from the Blackmagic footage to DaVinci Wide Gamut, because that's what I like to work in, and then obviously my nodes, and then back to DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709, but lately I haven't been doing that, so I'm going to turn that off, and instead I'm going to do a different one, which is, don't need to turn that one on. So it's going to go DaVinci Wide Gamut, color space transform into DaVinci Wide Gamut, and then out of DaVinci Wide Gamut back into Blackmagic, and then I have I believe it's a Cinematch from my Blackmagic camera to a Red Dragon, because I like the red colors. They're fun. So we can do some auditioning. So this is the color I kind of enjoy. But if we don't want to do that, we can do something else. So this is, if we want to, look at it in a bigger screen. I enjoy this, but if we don't want to do that, we can turn these off and do that. And that's basically just neutral out of camera the way Blackmagic thinks it's supposed to be, which I really like too. But I sort of enjoy the flavor of the Red Dragon color a little bit more. So we'll live in that world for now. So a few things I'll do here. We can open this up a little bit. I'm just going to make this look the way I think it should look first, and then see if I can get the, I'm giving myself the best chance in both directions. So I don't know, I'm just babbling. Here we go. It's a little green for my taste, but I think I want to go up on the exposure a little bit. Let's try 1 stop. That's too much. I'll try half a stop, because it's definitely still nighttime. I'm okay with that. The contrast is looking pretty good to me. So I'll leave that for a minute. I've been doing this new thing that Frenchie Color Grade does, which is to do saturation, because I do like to adjust the saturation a little bit. I changed the composite to overlay, and then you just back off. So it affects saturation and it affects contrast, but it affects it in a really nice way. I found that about 0.2-ish is kind of where I like the overlay to go. So yeah. It's kind of a version of like subtractive saturation, if you've ever heard of that, but I don't know. Frenchie was doing it, and I like it. You do have to raise the exposure a little bit more after you do that, which is fine. So we'll go to 1. Actually, we'll go to 0.75. So we're up a little bit. I'm pretty okay with the contrast. I don't think it needs to be anything weird. I do want to look at the vector scope, though, just because I'm curious what this Coke can looks like, because we know what Coca-Cola Red looks like. It's right on it, as is. Let's see, we have a red chip here. The red chip's right on it. The yellow chip is skewed a little bit. I bet if we were in Blackmagic World, it wouldn't be. Let's just go ahead and look at that real quick. Yellow, well, it's a little skewed. It's a little pushed. So you could do, to get a color match, you could go into the color match tab and drop on the color chart, onto the chips, but I don't want to do that. Not interested. So, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Let's look at skin tones too, just so I know. Right on the line. Interesting. Usually, because we're in, never mind. It's because we're in the Blackmagic digestion. Let's do the Da Vinci. There we go. So this will push a little bit more yellow. Yeah. So no big deal though. I'm pretty happy with that. There still seems to be a little bit more green than I would like, but for what we're doing, I'm pretty okay. I might change my color of my shirt, because I like my shirt to be a bit more true to what it is, and has no green in it at all, really. So let's go over to, get rid of that so it doesn't distract me. We'll do hue versus hue, and we'll just change the yellow. So I think we just need to grab yellow. Yep. And we'll just move it just a little bit. We need to, go just a little bit more. There we go. We gotta go up. I was wrong. Gotta go up just a little bit. Yeah. It's not a huge difference. I might go up with just a little bit more. I like that though. I think that's a little bit. It took out some of the green out of that stuff that doesn't have green in it also. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah. So let's just see what we did outside of all the conversion stuff. So we went from there to there, but if you ignore the exposure part of it, it's really just, yeah, I'm into that. I think that's a pretty decent looking thing. You don't even see the giant bruise on my bicep, so that's good. Cool. Let's just go ahead and, for the sake of this, let's, it's the middle of the night and my brain is tired. I don't know if that's obvious. So let's go ahead and convert that. Honestly, I don't hate that. I don't think I need to do anything. So it's a little bit brighter. That's pretty great. I like that. My face is making a weird noise, or a weird face, but I'm gonna drop the exposure just a little bit. But yeah. I think, honestly, the tungsten looks better. We can compare those two. So I'm making all the faces. We can even drop the tungsten down a little bit more just to make it match a little bit more, because I don't know if I want to bring this up. Yeah, I guess I do. I'll bring this up. Let's see how close they are in exposure. Not that it really matters. Oh, we can even go further. Okay, so let's go further up. My face is not quite as exposed in the one on the left, but that's fine. honestly. Probably something like that. I don't hate that. The tungsten does look better though. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so then we have this, and we'll start with the daylight. But so the way I white balanced, I should note, there's no real white balance controls in this other than auto settings, and so you can pick daylight, cloudy, incandescent, or auto, I think, are the choices. There's probably like, there's also what are the tube lights? I've already forgotten. Fluorescent. So those are the choices. There's no real controllable white balance, and so it's whatever the camera thinks. Obviously, the Blackmagic camera has a lot more choices, but I set daylight to daylight. So this has daylight, Blackmagic has daylight, and then for the other ones, Blackmagic has tungsten, and then obviously the auto tungsten on this. Yeah. So the big thing to notice between the Blackmagic and this little camcorder, you can already tell, let's go 200%. You can already tell just by looking at the footage is the amount of noise. I don't even know if it's coming up on YouTube. Maybe we'll do 400% if it's coming up on YouTube, but the amount of noise in the image for the camcorder is just nuts. There is noise in the other image too, but I set the camera to what I set to, which is the lowest noise I can get away with on my Blackmagic camera, which for me is 1250 ISO, because it's on the bottom of the. I don't need to get into that, but the amount of noise of the camcorder is absolutely nuts, but it's consistent. So for the YouTube clip, I denoised it, but even then, I don't know. There's just something going on with the noise. It's a million things. The other thing I noticed when I was editing the other night was the camera really likes the color red, as you can tell based on the Coke can, but pretty much everything else is gone. And I think that's because red skin tones exist sort of in a red world. And so that's why it's prioritizing red, because red's easier to, make skin tones look okay. Whereas the rest of it looks crazy. Yeah, so I don't know if I want to try to do let me see if I can try to do a cinematch. I don't think I can though. No, I don't need online help. What am I saying? Okay, so camera source. Does it even give me a choice to do something this weird? No. There's no point. Okay. I could do a color space transform to red. I could do that. I might do that. Let's just see where that starts us off with, because I'm already a little concerned about how this is going to go. So let's do DaVinci input color space. We're going to do Rec 709, and then we'll go into DaVinci wide gamut. Not that it really mathematically matters. And so we can do, nope. Man, my brain is tired. Gamma 2.4. And we're going to do DaVinci wide just to work in. Not that if it's Rec 709, it's not going to matter, but DaVinci intermediate. And so this will be DWG and DaVinci intermediate. And then we could do red. We'll do Dragon Color 2. And we'll do log 3 G10. And we'll do apply blah blah blah. Yeah, and so I think now I can do a cinematch, and I can just choose camera source profile red. And then we'll do apply Rec 709. Yeah, so that was a real janky way to do that, but okay. So in theory, these should be as close as they're ever going to get to each other mathematically at this moment. Obviously, they're not close. and you know the camcorder's 8-bit, which makes it really hard to do a lot of stuff, but it's not impossible. Anyway, yeah, let's try to do some. Yeah, the exposure is actually not. I'm glad it looks like it overexposed a little bit, but also the contrast is kind of messed up. So maybe I'll do a contrast adjustment, a curve adjustment. Let's just do. I'm having to look around my mic because I'm not used to a microphone. That's real cool to me. That, and then we'll pull this down just a little. You know what? It is just a drop down. Okay. With a little bit on the low end. Like a little tease out here. I mean, that's not. I'm just looking at the scope over here in the bottom right. It's not perfect, but it's like, I don't hate it. Saturation, we're kind of oversaturated, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a reverse of the overlay, which is we a subtract maybe? Nope, definitely not a subtract. What's the opposite of an overlay? Underlay, right? So linear dodge maybe? Exclusion, divide, hard mix. And then I'm just guessing at this point. 0.2. I mean, I don't hate that. Yeah, okay, so the opposite of overlay is exclusion. Hey, I learned something today. Okay. And then we're going to change this to colors. We're just going to solid colors. Actually, hues. Be more specific. In theory, yeah, I could drop on the chart thing to try to get it to match, but I don't know that that's worth it. I think let's do some hues. There's ways to just mess with the offset maybe to get it to work, but I don't know that that's a worthwhile endeavor. We could try though. We could take a little bit of green out of it, or put a little bit of green into it. Take a little bit of blue out. So do something like that. Actually, you know what? I'll just do it off let me just do it off of this sucker right here. So we just need to gap okay, and then we need to get the green on the other side of the red, which you could do a few different ways, maybe like that. A little bit of blue. I mean, is holy shit the word you were looking for? I mean, that's not a 1-to-1 by any means, but it's pretty close. I think the saturation's still too high. Maybe 0.4. I mean, split the difference, but yeah, it's like, holy crap, like they're way closer. The noise is still crazy, so I'll have to do something with the noise, but I kind of almost buy that. Let's call this 0.4. Just to, then we'll drop the exposure down a little bit. How about get it to behave a little bit more? I'm going to do a second saturation node here, just because it does feel like red is going too far. So the hue versus sat, we'll do red, and we'll just pull it down just to. Just a little bit. I think I need to push a little bit more yellow. And actually, you know what? It's red, isn't it? There's too much red in the... No, it's yellow. Something like that. I mean, you know, isn't that wild? That you can just keep, lift this up just a little bit. Maybe not. I kind of like the crush. So let's try to find the crush, something like that. Also, there's a sharpness difference. If you look, yeah, there's no way to focus it, whereas this is definitely sharper. 1080p is a wild ratio, wild aspect number. My brain's getting real tired. I don't hate this. I don't. There's certainly less everything, detail, precision. Some stuff is still getting weird colors. Like you could do a lot of secondary stuff. I could probably change what's going on with this box a little bit. I don't know. Why don't I do that? Okay, we can go back to this. I don't always eyeball it off of another image, but for the matching purposes, I feel like it's the right thing to do. Let's do some... we'll leave that alone. I don't know. I feel like it does need a little bit more contrast, though. I'm doing too many things on one node, but that's okay. I don't like that. Maybe... Yeah, there's not much. Yeah, so it's not 1-to-1, but it's not that terrible. And then, obviously, we need to reduce the crap out of it. I don't know. Sometimes you put the noise reduction in front, sometimes in the back. I think for this one, I think I just want to put it right up ahead of the everything. Just because I know it's a lot. So we're going to do 2 frames. We're going to break this. We're going to call this 8, and we're going to call these 8. And that's an insane amount. I acknowledge that. But all right, if we turn this off, that's the one not doing all the work. It's these. Okay, now we have no detail, but what we can do, and I'm going to do it all the way at the end just because I want to, call this sharp. This is the CST. Is it going to let me? So I know what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Let's do some sharpening. Usually it's 0.47. We're going to do 4.5. And 0.47. All right. How did we do? I mean, the Blackmagic is better, but I can live with this. It's still, man, there's just no detail. Even if you turn off the noise reduction and the sharpening, there's just less detail, and most of it is this pattern noise that is just ruining everything. And I went too far with the noise reduction, I can already tell. Let's get rid of Luma, and then we'll bring down the spatial. Because we do have texture on the back wall, but it pretty much goes away with the noise reduction because that's how messed up it is. I don't know. If you've seen Battlestar Galactica, the Blu-rays, or Star Trek Enterprise, the noise on especially the like CGI stuff is super high. So I don't necessarily hate noise, but yeah, it's better. It still looks like crap. Excuse me. All right. Well, we know it can be done. Let's go to the tungsten and see what we can do. The tungsten looks great. That's so crazy to me. And then we can add the sharpening back on, I guess. All right, so let's look at the tungsten of the two. Boy, tungsten with a Blackmagic Cinema Pocket 4K looks so pretty. Just so pretty. There's a lack of sharpness, that's for sure, and there's some color shifting, but it's not that far off. That's so crazy. The shirt hue is actually the hue is really helping. I think we're pushing too much green, it looks like, and red is turning pink. So maybe we'll mess with some hues a little bit. What has even changed on this? I don't even know. It says primary offset. Oh yeah, I've just messed with the offset. Okay, yeah, I forgot I didn't granularly do it, but let's do red, and we'll just do vector scope, and we'll rotate red until we, yep, there it is. It's really pink though. I don't want that. I don't like how that's working. Let's take magenta out. I don't like how any of this is working. Let's take out a little bit more blue. And then we'll add in a little bit of red. Nope, we don't need to add red, we need to add green, I guess, and then take some, I don't know what I'm doing here. Well, the red is just eye-watering. Maybe he versus Sat on red. I don't know what is going on. It's a little bit more yellow. My brain's tired, I can tell. Well, the red's too saturated. We know that, so we can bring the red down just a little bit. Maybe we get the vector scope and... Well, actually... Yeah, the red's too gnarly. Green's too gnarly. I need to drop the floor a little bit. I'm bouncing around just because I'm not really sure how to deal with this thing. I realize I'm not talking, and I'm sorry. It's just I'm like problem solving in my head. This needs to go. And then if I drop this, drop the exposure. I'm just gonna cheat and do a dirty one where I drop the actual saturation. I don't like to. I think it's not an accurate tool, but I'm out of ideas. The chip chart is still a little pink for me on the red, but honestly, I don't hate that. Need to drop the exposure some more, though. Yeah, so... Oh, I totally fucked this up, didn't I? Is that the blue? I didn't even notice that. Shame on me. That's why you don't, that's why you don't mess with the sats. Just fix it. What is doing that? It's not that. It's not that. Oh, it's because it's blown out. Alright, well. Yeah, it's fair. Add the sat back in. Can I fix it? Probably not. Okay. Oh my god. Why is this way? I don't know. Whatever. I would fix that if I had a brain to work. So, come on, baby. There we go. Yeah, so there's our Blackmagic, and I'm pantomiming drinking. Okay. Here's the camcorder, pantomiming drinking. It's the sharpness. It's the sharpness and the noise, and I think they're connected. I think that's really the problem, why it looks so crappy. Geez Louise, the Blackmagic looks sharp compared to this other camera, though. I will say that. gosh. It really does feel like, oh man. I don't want to be that guy. I really don't. But I think these guys are too... It's not even low resolution. It's just that the noise is so crazy high because it's a little tiny sensor. That's really what it is. Because even with 8-bit footage, I can get the colors to behave mostly, but it's just not sharp and it's noisy. That's so frustrating. I think that's what it is, though. I mean, just the... Without the noise reduction and the sharpening, I mean, you can even just turn everything off, honestly. Turn everything off, it is what it is. You turn everything on, and you can get it into a world that makes sense, but... You know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of, like, shooting on Super 8. If that makes sense. It's the texture of the noise is part of the personality of it. So maybe... I mean, there's no way it's going to look as good as something that is sharp, because it's just not sharp. But I'm trying to figure out a way to make it at least make sense, because it's definitely a deal breaker for my YouTube channel. But if I set the noise reduction to just work on the color noise and not the pattern itself, you could sort of think of it as like a Super 8, because Super 8's super grainy like that. So just temporal, let's just do no temporal at all and just do all spatial. No, you know what? Let's do the opposite. I changed my mind. Let's do all temporal and a ton of oh, it's so blocky though. You kind of not need it. Crazy number. Not really. What if these are locked together? Then they go away together, right? Oh, it's so much. Even the denoise has problems with it. Okay, so let's go back to what we did. Break it. We need a ton of chroma. Let's do 11. For this, we'll do 8. And if they're a blend, we can blend it maybe. Oh, the blend makes it so much worse. Jeez. You can hear my graphics card just struggling with that. See, you can even see the waves. Ugh, man. Alright, that's definitely gonna be about as good as it's gonna get. Oh, don't loop that, loop this. Okay, so What did we learn? Nope, that's not gonna work. Let's do this. Come on now. There is a minimum sharpness of an image, I guess. Let's get out of a motion blur moment, because that's the other thing. Wow, what a face. Okay, so God, what do you gain from this? This is just it's the feeling of defeat is what it is, because the colors are fine. It's just the image quality. It's the quality of the sharpness of the footage, plus the fact that it has crazy fixed pattern noise. If it didn't have the noise but it was still soft, that would be probably a deal breaker. If it was sharp and it had the noise, in theory, you could work on it hard enough with the denoiser to get it reasonable. But it's both. Yeah, it's a toy. Damn. It's a toy. That's really what it is. It's so frustrating. I'll have to try something else. I mean, any phone nowadays is sharp enough that works. So you could do that. I do have an extra phone. I don't like that it's wide angle, but that's fine. Oh man, that's so frustrating. So okay, so that's the solution to the mystery of can you get the potato camcorder to look good enough colors wise. Yeah, I think so. But as far as, is it sharp enough that it doesn't look like a home video from the 80s? No. So, time and place. Isn't that what Tangerine? I feel like that's why my brain hates how that movie Tangerine looked that was shot on an iPhone, is because it's just not sharp. I don't care about the colors. I don't care about the weird exposure problems, so that some of it's not lit very well. But the fact that it's not sharp, even for just streaming off of Netflix or whatever, on just like a phone even, because you can zoom out on this and that looks sharp. That looks fine. But then you zoom in there, maybe that looks sharp, and then you get to where you're actually at, and it gets just softer and softer. And then when you get to, oh God, yeah. Bummersville, real Bummersville. All right, well, lesson learned. I'm gonna have to not use these for YouTube because it's below, unless I'm doing it for a creative reason, which I'm usually not. It's below my threshold of quality. if there was such a thing. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks for playing along. See you guys.